I gave you a summary of, I can give you a summary.
I think Christine's suffering from the fact that she wasn't at the last council meeting.
I wasn't, but I wondered if any documentation had come through that I had missed.
We discussed it and decided that rubberised sheeting should be
Right.
employed.
Right, oh, well, yes.
If I give you a really quick summary of,
Yeah.
of what happened. So the environmental health team proposed that we needn't look at gating Lockwood just yet. Okay?
Excuse me, but the last I heard, nobody knows who that path belongs to.
That's still a question.
Right.
Originally, Rotherham Borough Council were asking that we put gates up, and they've changed their mind on that. As long as we're taking some sort of action, they're quite happy with that. We agreed at the last council meeting on the recommendations of the environmental health team that we would put up signs in the park, that we would make some changes to the planting, so the footpath that currently goes directly behind some of those bungalows that are being affected by the noise, we'll plant some sort of low-level shrubs in front of there to try and divert the foot traffic away from the sort of immediate back gardens of those bungalows.
Yeah.
And we've agreed to plant some new plants basically to screen the metal farm building at the bottom of the park.
Yeah, to stop the sound.
Yeah, to try. It's a long-term solution.
Right.
But to try and stop some of the sound reflections in those bungalows back gardens. We also observed some squeaky play equipment, so our ground staff have been asked to oil and grease the play equipment so that it doesn't squeak anymore. The final recommendation from Lewis Coat at RMBC was that we investigate, so the kids are currently, there's a goalpost and there's wire mesh to either side, so the metal panels to either side of the goalpost. When kids kick the ball and they miss the goal, it hits the metal panels and it vibrates and causes a bit of noise. So we were asked to get some quotes for rubber sheeting to put on those panels so that when the kids kick the ball, it doesn't make that sort of reverberating sound. So we've sought some quotes for it. So we approved the signs, we approved the changes to planting, we've got some spare plants. They can't be moved yet because of the time of the year, but I think at the end of September, Brian and the ground staff team are going to move some plants and make the changes to planting. We've asked RMBC for the signs, and we're just awaiting the quotes. The update on the entrance to Lockwood is that the deeds that we have for Lockwood don't show, it's a little general, rather than the agricultural, rather than the large gate, which is the agricultural access, which is shown. It's the little general, it's the little pathway between the bungalows. RMBC were under the impression that we own it as a parish council, but it's not on the transfer deed. So it's possible that that little walkway between the two bungalows actually belongs to RMBC, or it wasn't included. So actually that puts the gating issue back to RMBC. So they, if it turns out that the general doesn't actually belong to us, then RMBC will be responsible for the gates up there.
It was and probably still is quite common for builders to leave these little snippets, so it could be a mystery.
It could. So that's what Anna's investigating.
Right.
Sorry, I know I had to show up. Apologies for the long-windedness there. Did anyone else have a...
My question would be answered.
Okay. Stuart.
Right. I'm a bit surprised we've got this back on again, because I was under the impression that we did all the approving at the last meeting. Like we agreed to plant shrubs. I don't know if we agreed to do the signs, but obviously we did. I was under the impression that was it. That was dead and buried unless we got anything back from RMBC. Obviously we can't approve the expenditures, we haven't got them. But what I'd like to know is, if we're going to put rubber matting to stop balls bouncing against a steel plate, how long is the rubber matting going to last? Because if we put it up and it disintegrates in the next 2, 3, 6 months, we're going to be asked to put it up again, and again. And at the end of the day, let's be quite frank, we've only had complaints from one resident or one house.
No,
Whoa.
2.
Whoa.
Two.
You need to come to our house.
Ladies and gentlemen, please do not
Listen,
There was two
Sorry, don't
residents.
I don't care. Just, look, come to our house and listen to that frame.
Please stop.
That's it.
Please. Please. We will get to it. When the chair stands, everybody has to be quiet. We need to have a civilised discussion about it. Councillors have different opinions, members of the public have different opinions. We've made some action. We need to see where we can take this. Okay?
Can I?
Sorry, I'm not finished. To my knowledge, we've only had one resident, and I include both people in there, who's made a complaint. To my knowledge. We've had far more people.
There was two of us, yeah.
Sorry, do you mind us speaking? We've had far more people come and speak out against doing anything on there. But again, I put the question. How long
They don't
do
live there though, do they?
They don't live there.
Sorry, don't shout at me, because that can be seen as bullying.
Oh, dear.
I'm trying to be cordial. I'm entitled to your opinion, you're entitled to your own.
No more interruptions from members of the public or other councillors, or I'll suspend the meeting.
So, I'll go back to what I was saying. I'd like to know if they're going to propose to put rubberised sheeting on there, and there's no decision being taken yet, that I want to know from the company how long it will last. I think we've looked at this issue in depth, and I think we've done more than what we have been asked to do, and it is contentious, but at the end of the day, we have to take into account the wider views of the whole of Anston, not just certain individuals.
Thank you, Stuart. Before we go, I think it was just Colin, I'm not sure if anybody on this side.
Sure.
Colin, just before we go to your point, a point of clarification, we have actually received complaints from 2 properties on the board.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, so how come then 2 complaints? I've not seen 2 complaints. So there's never, the 2 complaints have not been put in front of council as far as I'm aware. So if they've not been put in front of council, we've only had 1 complaint.
Thank you. Colin.
Yeah, Stuart partly answered his own question when he talked about how long the material will last. And my point was going to be, which he then said, until we get the quotes and see the standards, we don't know. It's as simple as that. Now, it could be the type of rubber used for industrial conveyors. In this case, it'll last better than a day. If it's only a piece of soft foam, then it's going to be syndicated. So, you're right, because we can't make a decision until we receive the quote and see what the composition of the material is. But it won't be only, we're not talking thousands and thousands of pounds.
No, you missed the point I'm making is, if the council are of the mind to put the rubber sheet on, the point I'm making is, if it disintegrates, and bear in mind rubber's a natural product, if it disintegrates in 6 months, let's just say, a wild guess, let's say it costs £100, it's a wild guess. If it disintegrates in 6 months, you will then have the same cost again, possibly the same cost 6 months later. The point I'm making is we need to make sure that if we're putting rubberised sheeting, that it's going to last. That's the point I was
To me,
making.
that's the idea of the quote, isn't it?
Well, again, nobody's asked. Well, I'm quite certain nobody's asked what is the shelf life of the rubberised sheeting.
Can I take Jonathan and then Darren?
Can I just ask a question? Do we have any quotes? You said we don't have
No,
any
we've asked
quotes.
for them, we haven't.
So can
Yeah.
I make a proposal that we defer this until the quotes arrive?
Okay.
Because we're not
We're talking about
deciding until the quotes.
Okay. And Darren?
Answer that question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. I'm sorry, I can't take questions.
Stop, it's okay. I have information that I could give you.
There isn't any, it's just a procedure. If we let one
Yes,
person do
that's
it,
fine.
then we let it.
Read the rubberised sheet.
Okay, we have a proposal on the table. We have a second for that. Darren, you were first. Colin, you're just slightly late. All those in favour? Okay, thank you very much.
We've also covered 9.2 then, haven't we?
So we haven't formally covered it. So again, the update that I gave in response to Chris is that actually we don't know who owns that general between the 2 properties, so we're not in a position to approve the installation of gates. And our MBC are no longer asking us to put gates in at this stage. I think Stuart, you're first. Just.
Yeah, again, this was saying before, we need to start nailing down on what I call the small things. We're making the statement, public statement is, we're not sure who owns that unit. Now, if the deeds are not sure, the deeds are not specific, well, we need to take some form of action to either alter the deeds so it doesn't show it, because the next thing that happens, RMBC is going to come back and say, it is yours. And then what do we do then? Because we're going to lay the sign behind. We need to find out, and I don't know how we'll do it, but we need to find out if them deeds definitely say we own it or we don't.
I can answer that just before Jonathan's point, if that's all right, Jonathan. So the deeds at the moment are incomplete. They've been scanned, they've been photocopied at some stage in the 40 odd years since the land was transferred. One of the pages of the deeds is missing, so there's an outline, but there's a page missing in the deeds. So Anna has asked the solicitors for a full sort of new copy of the deeds. When we've got that, we'll be able to find out exactly who owns what, or indeed if it's still unknown as to
Chair, can we find out then who last resurfaced the footpath? Because those are responsible for it.
Whoever did that.
It's been resurfaced at least 3 times. So somebody's been and worked on it. If RBC's
Give us some guidance in it.
John.
It's just a quick one. When the consideration you take into this as well is the yearly cost of locking and unlocking the gates, which we need to know which.
We have talked about
because
that, Jonathan.
it's a constant cost.
Yeah.
It's not a one-off cost every year.
We have talked about that in previous meetings.
I said give the residents a key, it don't cost us anything then, does it?
But we still have to take into account if they say we don't have to do it.
Well, the cost of the gates.
Well, we
No,
can't
for the cost to pay someone to go.
we can't put gates up if it's not our land.
All I'm saying is when it does come back, if it is ours, just take that into consideration.
Yeah.
That's all.
So will that, so will APC find out who owns that and it'll come back?
I'll put it back, I'll take
Come
that.
back to council.
I'll put that back on the agenda when we know.
Right, well if we put it in the minutes it's coming back.
Okay, the minute that will come back once. So just deferred. I'd like to take 9.3 and move that later in the agenda, just so that we can get, I'd like to move it to before section 10, just so that we can get some discussion out of the way before, if that's okay with...
Is it going into confidential?
We haven't voted on whether it goes into confidential or not. We'll take it as it comes up on the agenda, if that's all right with you, Chris.
What, sorry, when are you going to take
At
it?
the moment it's here. Well, at the moment it's 9.3, so it would be the next item that we're about to
Right,
discuss.
you're going to move it to
I would
where?
like to move that to after 9.12, and then we can vote on whether it goes into confidential session or not.
Right,
I want to clear some of the background on the agenda if we can. The next thing is 9.4, which was one of my items, which was to approve the purchase of play equipment. We discussed this at the last meeting, and I'd like to withdraw that because we concluded the discussion at the last meeting anyway.
Can I just say, I think, I just looked at the minutes and things, I think we deferred it until Councillor Manchester will come back with a report and obviously we're going to So can we need to put back on as we do?
I'd like to withdraw it because we had a discussion about funding, and I think we agreed in the end that it's something to revisit when we're looking at budget planning. So rather than have it roll through the agenda, we approved at the charity meeting, we approved David Allroy to put in a grant application on the charity's behalf. So I just proposed that we're going to withdraw that one. 9.5, are you happy if we defer this one? This is something that I haven't had time to cover. Councillor Jepson to 9.6 to receive an update regarding implications of Saffordshire Police decision not to police the Remembrance Day or the bonfire night.
I think this is the relative one, but I'll tell you as much as I know at the moment. I've emailed the area inspector that covers this.
Could you use the microphone, please? I can't catch everything.
I am doing Christy.
Yeah, it's not close enough, love.
I contacted the area inspector that I discussed this issue with at the area assembly in July, I think it was. I've not received a reply from him as yet. I asked him if they'd decided if they were going to police it, and I also copied Anna and Drew in on this one. But I informed him that bonfire night is actually going to be on the 6th, the Sunday, which hopefully doesn't present as many problems for police resources as it might have done if it was actually on the 5th on the Saturday night, which is usually, if that fall on the Saturday night this year, it might be a bit of a wild night probably from their point of view. So he's aware of that, but I've not had anything back. So the only thing I can do is chase him up tomorrow. And I think with regard to South Wales Police, again, I would suggest that the clerk writes to PCC and the new Chief Constable and asks if they can let us know what they're intending to do, because we need to know sooner rather than later as to whether what they're going to do. You want to speak to it?
I'm going to make a proposal, if that's all right. My proposal is that the council writes to the Police and Crime Commissioner and asks him to reconsider his position on the withdrawal of police cover for our Remembrance Day parade and bonfire night, and express our disappointment at the decision that's been taken, and further that the council write to our 3 RMBC councillors to ask them to lobby the PCC on our behalf. That's the proposal.
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favour?
So you already written?
Only to the inspector felt that he polices it from Malta that covers this area, so he's part of the discussion. When I last spoke to him, he said they'd not made a decision.
Could remind them that they're quite happy to charge on our rates bill that says police.
Yeah, well, I didn't make that point to him with that area assembly. He may well be there on the afternoon because there's an area assembly meeting at they need to at Bungalow Complex on for the road. On New Street, the 2 o'clock till 4, and hopefully somebody will be basically there. So if he's there, I'll reply by then, I'll ask him for life.
Thanks, Craig.
Right to the 3 word council. It's
Councillor Wilson.
this is the resolution.
So this, John.
Just a quick question. If a negative response does come back, what contingency plans do we have especially for the Remembrance Day service? Would we...
Maybe the other Councillor Island's agenda item
Well,
might give us those contingencies. Stuart, is yours in response to item 9.6?
Right, I'll wait till the next one, because we're going to discuss the things. I've got some ideas.
So we're off item 9.6. We're going to write to the people that have mentioned the councillors, BCC, and item 9.7. So, John? So this is to consider or approve paying for road closures for the 2 days.
Well, I'd like to remember that it's just for information, that's all. there was actually going to be a proposal to decide if we are going to pay for them, just for the council's consideration, just so they get information there. That was all.
Stuart Clive.
Yeah, obviously now we'll have to wait until the PCC reply, that sort of replies in the positive. Because I think politically, if the PCC withdraws police cover for remembrance rates, I think he's on very dodgy political grounds. I do know there's other councillors of his own party in the borough who are not happy with this police withdrawal. And I think hopefully we should get a reply to this letter quite quickly. And that's when we will have to make a decision. I think as a council, if they come back and stand their ground, we will have to look at alternate finance. Maybe we should go back to RMBC and ask them for finances from some community fund.
I think we could
Or we
consider
ask the area assembly, or we could even, as a last resort, ask the RMBC councillors if they would like to use their leadership fund to contribute to the cost of the road closures.
Chair.
That's something for discussion in future day.
Well, I think we should.
Sorry, John, can I take you back to right.
Can I just add a bit to that? On Thursday, I'm at the RMBC Parish Town Council workings at the Town Hall, and one of the items is road closure and licence costs. I think the cabinet member and one of the officers had a meeting with Colin Knight and Karen Hanson, who are Colin Knight's in charge of highways and Karen Hanson is community safety. So I'd like to ask if, following that meeting, if I can bring it back to the next council meeting, what they say at that, and see where we stand. I also have to say that I received an email from Councillor Tone, who've done some digging work. I don't know where he found it, but and I've passed that on to RBC Highways, and I hope I'm going to get a response to that, because I've asked him what Colin asked me was, is this still a valid decision that was made in 2010, I think it was.
Yeah, with permission of the chair.
If you're Chair, Drew.
Is it the prices?
No.
No, it's some of the items relevant to this.
John, do you mind if...
No.
No, with permission of the chair, when the question of paying for road closures was first mentioned, I decided to do some digging. And in Rotherham Borough Council's archives, I found the minutes, or a copy of a report to members on the 1st of November 2010. Now, I won't bore you with all the whys and the wheres, all the proposals and so on, but there are two things. If the road closure is under the Highways Act, Rotherham Borough Council wants to take us nearly £1,000. However, there's a thing called the Town Police Clauses Act, 1847, if you believe. And it says on the report, under the Town Police Clauses Act, the time taken to administer the making of a road closure order is low, and the cost to the council in doing so is negligible. Subsequently, a nil charge is thought reasonable in circumstances where the Town Police Clauses Act is used to facilitate road closures for events like parades and marches. That is why I sent a copy to Councillor Jefferson and a copy to Councillor Jonathan Ireland, because I think a fortnight's enough. And you're welcome to look at a copy if you want. It seems to me, it's a tax on Memorial Day parades and bonfire celebration. It is a covert tax, and I deplore anything like this. You know, and John made the point. We already pay a high police precept, so I really don't think we should have to pay for road closures. Now, Councillor Jonathan already made the point. Yeah, if it all goes peak time, what's plan B? I don't know. I don't know.
John?
Well, I'm getting a bit fed up with this parish council pussyfooting and messing about. What we should do is write to the British Legion and tell them that our Remembrance Day service has been threatened by the police refusing to lead us across the road. Because that is what it is, and we should tell the headquarters of the British Legion that something that they pressed for has been undermined by the police, and they should help us and take action against them. But if we don't make enough noise, we sit back and we just accept people talking to our face, don't we?
Thanks, John.
So,
Stuart.
just quickly, I agree in principle what you're saying, John, about parental leisure, but in a way, I think it's, I hate to use the word a waste of time, because that's probably not. The thing is, the operational decision not to police lies with either the, I think it's this title is the Chief Superintendent, or the PCC. Now, the ultimate responsibility for police operations is the PCC. And as it's just been alluded to, he's put our tax up, police precept up, I think twice in the last 2 years. And has withdrawn most of our services from Dinnington, which covers this area. And at the end of the day, the person that we should be shouting at loudest is the PCC. He's the political head, and he has the power to make political decisions. And as I said before, there's people in his own party who are not happy with what's going on, because it's an emotive subject in the British Legion. This parade we have here, from my knowledge, I know for certain, it's been going on at least 50 years. But there's anecdotal evidence it's been going on since the 1920s, when the Lich Gate was first built. So in effect, for him to make this operational decision, I think he needs to be brought to account and made to justify why he thinks it's reasonable to withdraw this cover.
The thing is,
I agree with about Legion. I don't think he'll have any good at this time to things.
yeah, but the thing is, we just accept it. We're not making enough noise. It doesn't matter who you look, if you're going to, what I suggest of anybody who's going to get big guns out, get them in press. Just make them feel ashamed of themselves.
There's no
That's what we're doing. We're just here saying, oh dear, what a shame, what we're going to do, we're going to have a man with a stick in front. We ought to be putting them onto the rack and attacking them and saying this is a disgrace.
It is a disgrace.
And it is a disgrace. That the thing that we're doing to honour the people who died, to make us free so we can make these decisions, we're not going to go. And it's going to be made by some police inspector who don't care a bugger about us in Anston.
I think you're right.
Sorry, they don't care about us.
Well, I just say from a personal point of view, when I've had occasion to speak to the PCC, which you know that I do stand up to them, because it's a political appointment, and he, in effect, is making, or is approving political decisions. And you're right, he should be held to account. Because as a corporate body we can't shout, that's why I've suggested we write to the PCC, asking to justify the decision. We're limited as a council, but you're right, we should be standing up and holding him to account.
Can I just
Clive,
add a little bit?
Can I say,
Go
is it Clive? Sorry.
Sorry. When we were at the meeting at Dinnington that he attended, he did actually say that he was in favour of these events being policed, but unfortunately I think what happens is operational decisions are sometimes out of his remit, and he's sort of committed himself to that meeting, but then I think his chief inspector was organising this had a different view, so I think we'll see where we are at the moment. But I think with regard to the road closures and what have you, as I say, I'm at that meeting on tomorrow, so I'll take that up with him. I've got the information that was sent through to the clerk from the licensing officer for highways and streetworks. To be honest, at the last meeting, which gave a quote. I forwarded that email, Collins, to the cabinet member who's attending the meeting tomorrow, and her officer, and also one of the highways officers whose name is mentioned on it. So we'll see what response we get to that. But as I say, if we can wait until that meeting, and then I'll bring it back on the 19th, is it? And hopefully we'll have some more information as to whether we're going to get charged. If they say, yeah, and she, we get some sway there, because Dinnington are in the same position, there are lots of the parish councils for their Christmas event, our bonfire night, etc., etc. So I don't see why we should pay twice. If we have our rates for grant taken off us again this year, that's 10,300 we're going to expect to pay for village events. It's all stacked one way, it's not in our favour. So if members are happy for me to say, I'll take all that information with me tomorrow and see if I can get a response. The good news about that is that they're now actually giving us a proper time slot for a meeting that we used to get an hour from before for the previous cabinet member. We now got 2 hours, and all the parishes are represented there. So it's a better forum than we've had for actually raising parish issues. So I'll be putting some more stuff on the next meeting about things that concern us and the Borough Council, not least the removal of the rate support group, because I think that needs to be looked at again.
Thanks, Clive. Chris?
Could I just suggest that we write to them all then? Stuart suggested the Crown Commissioner, John suggested the newspapers
British Legion.
and the British Legion. If we could make a bit more noise, I do agree with you, John.
We're getting, you see, Chair, we're getting like, a few weeks ago, one of the traffic wardens died in Rotherham. And at his funeral, they were just going to put him in the ground, and there was knocking inside within. And she said, I'm not dead, I'm not dead. And Vicky says, too late, mate, before I make paperwork out.
Is it true, John?
Shall we?
Can we ask the clerk?
I think if we get the response and they're not going to do it, then we move on to the...
Can we ask the clerk to write to those three?
Is that a proposal, Chris?
Yes.
Can I from the third? Did I not say to copy? Do you know about right to vote there?
Oh, I didn't mention that. I don't know if you did.
I thought you said
Crown Commissioner,
right, oppose we write to the Crown Commissioner.
We've done that.
We've done
British
that.
Legion,
We've not done that.
We've not done that.
newspapers.
We've not done that.
What, did you mention Maltby, Stuart?
Sorry?
Did you mention Maltby?
No, I was just clarifying because I couldn't remember if I mentioned to copy in the, I think it was the chief superintendent, the guy involved there. Obviously, I have.
Oh, right,
It's
yeah.
Butterworth,
I'd forgotten all the police had gone to Maltby.
So I'll be down on
No
I
police
understand
in
what you're saying.
Dillington.
I think at this moment in time, I think, right, so again, I go back to the operational decision or the overall control within the PCC. So I think, yes, we could write to the others, but how much effect will it have? That's what I'm
Well, we don't know, but that's not a reason not to write, is it? How are the public going to know there's no Remembrance Day parade this year if we don't start to let them know?
Okay, thank you.
Was that a proposal? Because I'll second it.
It was a
We need a second.
Yeah, second. Darren.
He's proposed it, seconded.
Oh,
My
We don't have to-
the only thing I can say is times of the essence. Again, bonfire nights, just round the corner. We need it resolving.
Yeah,
Okay, we have a proposal on the table to write to.
All people.
I forgot.
Do you want the list? British Legion.
British Legion, have you already complained to the Crown Commissioner? Have you already done that?
Done the Crown Commission.
You've done that? Well, do it again then. It's not hurt it to get another one, will it? That the Parish Council have discussed it and we want to object.
It's probably newspaper one's going to have most impact on it, though.
Well, it's if they print it as well, down.
newspaper.
Christine, just for the sake of...
Crown Commissioner
5 reports back.
and British Legion.
For the sake of getting through this, could the proposal be to write to any relevant individuals or bodies?
Well, as long as Anna's got it down.
And Anna's got it down, and then if any other councillors, if any
Any
other
other
councillors think
ideas?
of an individual or a body that we should write to, let the clerk know, and she can fire off the same letter to.
Would councillors be prepared to vote for notices on council notice boards? Because it's amazed me recently, actually, how many people... Well, it's informing the public of what's going on, because I'm sure the man in the street's got no idea.
We're running out of time. We've been here before with many items where we talk about things like this.
Yeah.
And then we fetch it back to meetings and it comes back to the next meeting. It's now September.
Well, I'm asking now if we do posters...
Do you have to have a notice in force 30 days prior to the event? Am I right in saying?
No, I mean just to inform them, Darren.
Sure,
Just to inform the
If
public.
it's a public notice in the newspaper, I think it's, I don't know, it's 14 days prior.
So we need to know what
weeks.
that is, because you're going to
We need to know liabilities to
I don't know what he's talking about. What's that?
Can we vote on, Chris, can we vote on your proposal?
Right, Crime Commissioner, British Legion.
And any other relevant bodies as notified by councillors to the clerk, is that
Yeah,
right?
that we object. What's happening and that we object.
Yeah, that's right. Second.
I'll second that.
All those in favour? Thank you. Carol. So, John, in terms of approving paying for road closures, do you want to move anything on that? Or?
No, that's just for information, so I'll withdraw that item, but we've got the information
I'll
to
take that.
look at.
You can't really do anything anyways.
No.
So can we consult the system and we need to...
Can we raise it? We're just going from the number of meetings that we've got between now and one time, like Mr. Darren says. If we don't get any reply back, can we defer that one to the next meeting so that it appears on the agenda anyway, so that we can actually make a decision? If it comes right down to the wire and we just have to pay for it, or we just have to walk out onto the air.
You do have the option, Chair, to call an emergency meeting at any time.
Okay.
And as long as you've got 5 councillors there, you can proceed.
You can do it. Right. You have to roll it forward rather than withdraw it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Even if we withdraw it, it can be discussed further later.
Thank you. Into the next meeting. Councillor Thornton,
We've already discussed this. We've already done it in the last meeting.
Yes.
We did this last meeting, so we'll just move on.
Okay. At 9.9 we deferred this one because Chris, you weren't here at the time. So that's 9.9, Councillor Sadler to elect one councillor to the sole point of contact between APC and the skate park.
Right, it's just that Sandra, who was trying to raise funds for the skate park, asked if I would be the liaison. It came up because she's got some bodies in neighbourhood, something. What is it, Clive? What's it called? What's that? Will you go to it? Who's helping with funding? Sorry. Area Assembly, yeah. Who's helping with funding, but they need some documents signing. And she'd asked Miles and he's done nothing about it. So she asked me if I would try and get something done. So I said I will ask if the council will let me liaise between the skate park committee and the council.
What was that, Chair?
Second,
I've just got one question here.
I can see where you're coming from on this, Chris. You think, and I'm going to harp on about it again. And I've told Councillor time and time again, he doesn't have to liaise with the parish council.
No, but it's just to come back, Stuart, because they're needing permission to build on the charity land. That's why.
Let me clarify.
We know it's nothing to do with the council.
The land the skate park is on is the charity. And
Yeah.
I've told Councillor Mansell time and time again, if he wants to do any action on the skate park, he has to liaise with the charity.
Well, I've done that, Stuart.
Yeah, I'm just not saying. And what the process would be is, just say for instance, if he brings an issue up around the skate park to the charity, or if he wishes, if we have a liaison person with the charity, he can bring that up, and then the charity can make the decision if they need some form of information passing to the council. What I'm trying to prevent is, we're now discussing an issue between the community group and the charity in the council meeting. We need to get it straight that charity issues have got to be in a charity. I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So ideally...
So you're just saying it's charity?
The liaison person needs to be through the charity, not the council.
Right.
I don't know why you didn't listen to me, because I can't make it any more clear to me. There's no need to be involved in the council until such time as an issue comes up. That
well, and it's also sometimes there are issues with the existing skate park that the youth report back to Sandra and she wants it reported to the council to get the repairs done.
Well, that's it. The only...
So it needs to be a council matter because it's a maintenance issue.
It's only, you're right, it's only a council matter if it's to do with maintenance.
Right, well that's
Everything
it
else
then.
to do with the skate park. I'm assuming, am I wrong? I'm assuming that we're on about the project for the new skate park. Or we're just talking...
We are, but the existing one also.
So this way we need to, this is why I keep saying it needs to go to the charity to simplify matters.
Right, but because the council is in charge of maintenance,
Yeah.
I need to be liaise between the council and the skate park so that they can say to me, this repair's needed, the kids have reported this, that and the other, will you let the council know? And this all stems from Sandra being insulted at council and at charity meeting.
Thank you, Chris. John.
Can I make an amendment then to the proposal that Councillor Sadler is the go-between the parish council, charity and the skate?
Wonderful.
Okay, so we have a proposal, we have a seconder.
Kind of voting.
No further comments from anyone? All those in favour? Thank you. Okay. 9:10, I'm just conscious of time. We've got 10 minutes. There are a few things that I would like to finish up if we can. Chris, is this one that will take quite a long time?
Well, because it's been coming for about 6 months, yes, I'd rather leave it.
Okay. Leave it to the next.
Can I move it to the next meeting?
Yeah, move it to the next meeting. Okay. 9:11 to receive the fines from Durham University.
Not those yet.
We haven't received those. We've not received them. So we've got 6 months. Stuart.
Yeah, just to clarify, it says to receive fines. Does that mean paperwork or actual artifacts?
No, it's the artefact, Stuart. Because, Mark from Durham said, because the fines were found on parish council land, they officially belong to Anston Parish Council. So I said I thought the best place for them to go would be Creswell, because they've got storage and they also have fines there from previous digs in Anston Parish, and because we know where to put them. So would you agree to these fines going to Creswell?
Yeah.
Comments from councillors? Does anyone object to that?
I'm not saying no.
Yeah.
But we need to be clear, because obviously, like I said, then the previous fines were found in the 1960s, I think it was.
I don't know when, I mean, they've got a bear tooth, I don't know when that
I don't think
was.
the parish got any choice whether. I think they went to some, I'm not sure it was Sheffield, and how Creswell got them, I don't know.
Well, Creswell's got stuff, but
Yeah.
apart from the bear tooth, I don't know what.
I don't know what the top of the procedure is, but first is we haven't got any capacity to store them anyway.
They've got
Rather than give
proper
them-
storage at Creswell, been in there.
Rather than give them to Creswell, we may need to look at the options we're on loan, if it's our property, I don't know. It's something we probably need to investigate a bit more. I can see what you're saying, because they will be safe there.
Well, they'll be with the other stuff as well. I don't know anything about some going to Sheffield.
So how about a proposal just to move things on, that we receive the fines when they can we agree to receive them when they arrive?
Yeah, no, it sounds like it.
Can I ask Durham to send them to Creswell?
That was the question that Stuart's raised. So first of all we need to receive them, don't we, into our possession? And then
I'd rather not. We can go straight to Creswell.
no, I mean technically we just need to receive them into our, because we've got an agenda item to receive them. So I think technically we just
Is that
need
into
to-
our legal session?
Can I just ask, what are the objects?
I don't know why that's worded like that. To receive fines by... No, because... No, anyway.
Listen, what are the objects we're talking about? What actually are they?
Well, I don't know exactly what they found, but they found parts of a Roman pot and what was the other thing?
You found some flint heads.
Flints, yeah, flint, oh, yeah, flints they found,
So
yeah.
so
That are
it
not, flint isn't found in this area.
So it won't be a problem that if we have them sent here, and as soon as we receive them, then we will have a look at taking some advice, what we do with them, with a view to giving them to
Well,
us.
if that's what we've got to do, because at the end, the agenda item, unless, can we change that to Durham to send them to Creswell?
We just need to legally receive the fines, don't we, at this stage? And
I
then
don't
we
know
can-
why.
And then we can pass them
But we
to...
don't have to receive them physically.
All
We've
right,
just got
so
to
you're not
agree
saying
that we own them.
physically?
We've just got to basically say that we agree that we own the fines and just
Can
then
you
we
just
can
agree
look
that they
into
go,
it.
well, I want specifically for the councillors to agree that they go to Creswell.
Is that a proposal?
Yes.
So Chris is proposing that we receive the fines and that we loan,
Sorry?
and that we loan them to Creswell.
We would have to,
Well, I suppose, I suppose long-term loan.
Long-term loan.
This is why I'm suggesting that if we receive them first, then we can look into it, because we would have, if they went to...
Do you mean
Creswell-
physically receive?
Physically receive them.
Are you going to take responsibility for them?
No, we have...
Well, we know it's store them, Stuart.
We've got an office, we've got...
If they come here, I've got to then take them to Creswell.
You don't have to take them to Creswell.
Well, how are they going to get there?
But we haven't made a decision where they're going yet.
Well, that's what I'm asking you
What I'm
for.
trying to say is, you can't just say we're going to give them to Creswell, because there's a question of ownership. Are we going to give them to Creswell?
Long-term loan.
Well, we have to have an agreement in place if we're going to loan them.
Well, Mark has already said they belong to Anston Parish Council. So I am now asking you lot, can these fines that belong to Anston Parish Council be sent to Creswell for storage on long-term loan?
Is that your proposal, Christine?
Yes.
I'd like to second that.
Thank
I'll
you.
second that. I can't see the point. Everybody that wants to see them has seen them, either before...
Oh, they can go to Creswell.
Yeah.
See the other lot, one of the deal.
are. Safe.
I don't want to take responsibility for those fines.
We're never saying this. I think most people around the table in agreement that a safe place to keep them would be Creswell. The point that was coming up was, are you going to loan them to them on a long-term issue?
Yeah.
Or need paperwork? Or are you going to give them, and therefore we also need paperwork? You can't just receive them here, walk down there and give them to them. You have to have some procedure. As silly as it sounds, you've got to have some document to clarify.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So we'll ask the clerk to draw up a document
Right.
to email to Mark.
So the proposal is that we'll receive the fines from Durham University and Mark will liaise with Creswell to establish the terms.
Cresswell
of
and-
long-term loan.
And Durham,
And Durham.
yeah,
Yeah.
to send them to Creswell
Okay, that's been
on
seconded.
long-term
Okay,
loan.
seconded.
If
All
you
those in
condense that into a
Thank you
three-page
very much.
document.
Well done, Christine.
Because there's a museum there, whereas they'd end up in one of our storage cupboards, so they may as well go in the museum.
Can I, through the chair, make a proposal? Because time is getting up. Item 9.12, 10.9, 10.10, 10.11, be deferred. We've got to work, we're going to be here all night.
Can I ask as well, Chair, I know we've knocked 9.3 about, but I think there's a lot more information to be put together about the Kroger issue. And I know Councillor Smith said something, again at that meeting tomorrow, there's an item, agenda item, regarding community asset transfer, which is where we started off with this issue of Kroger. And the new director of regeneration and environment is supposed to be attending. And if I could just read out a minute from the last meeting, which have not been accepted and read yet, but this is a bit out of the issue. PTS matters on this as asset management, this is to do with asset transfers, leases, etc. PTS for matters on this issue to be expedited, and despite attendance by Jonathan Marriott, previous meeting, nothing materially changed. Other parish councils agreed and examples were given of delays in effecting transfers, etc., to the detriment of parishes. Councillor Yassine suggested a policy response from Damien on Chief Director of Regeneration and Environment to find out what is happening to sort out the issues. But there's a whole raft of things that are going to hopefully come out about rather put everything in front of councils to make a properly informed decision than going on half-cock and what we've got so far, because we've got bits and pieces all over the place. This is Crow. And I want to give everybody all the information so they can sit and think, have a look at it and digest it, and we can make an informed decision.
Are you saying to defer it? Is that what you're saying?
If we can to the next
I
meeting.
agree with you to defer it, because again, it's nothing personal, but I think that RMBC councils should not be discussing contracts between an independent council and RMBC because they have a conflict of interest, whether it's personal or not.
I'm not discussing this, I'm discussing this as a parish council representative.
No, you can't.
What I'm saying is,
I don't agree with that.
it's not personal, there's a conflict of interest, I believe.
There's got to
I
be.
have spoken to the monitoring officer, and I'm not getting satisfactory answer to that. They're sitting on the fence, and we're paying this man a lot of money to sit and say nothing, and I think he needs to be chased up further. If you say we're going to do it, I'm happy to do it.
There's, as I said, there's an issue as well that's been decided about some more land in Swinton, whereby the commissioners have made a decision to transfer that to the ownership rather than the lease. So they've set precedent on these meetings. I want to explore on that group as to how we can...
So they transferred ownership to a parish council?
They've transferred it to a recreation ground charity.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got rid of it off. You've seen the one, haven't you, Jonathan? It's
Got it off the books.
and they've got it off the books, basically. And I'd like to bring more information back to everybody so we can have a look at that and see which is the better way.
The fact still stands that we made a lawful decision.
Well, I'm going to say I won't read that one still, so I'm not going to argue with the cost of it. But if I can make a second on that.
Are you proposing that with further?
Yes, please.
Are you seconding it? I'll second
Are you
it.
seconding?
Yeah.
All those in favour?
Thank you.
Just I'm conscious that we need to move back into public session. I know, Colin, are you happy to defer those? You happy to defer those
Yes,
items?
to defer 9, 12, 10, 9, 10, 10, 10, 11.
There is an item that we need to get to. Are we happy that Crowgate is best discussed at the next meeting? Yeah. We have 10.2, which, considering that the course is on...
I just think it's 10.1, we need to do 10.1 today, because if it's an agreement that council is going to attend this training, we need to put it in the
Can we take 10.2 first, and then 10.1? The YLCA course for the clerk is on Friday, so we really need to approve that today. The cost, there are two courses. The YLCA course is £115, and then there's another course which is required for HR purposes, so conducting appraisals for staff. So the total there is 160. Sorry?
Proposed.
You proposed. There is a second part to
Second.
it. So there's a. In fact, let's take that one. So the sort of essential course here is 115 plus 45, so that's 160. So that's the YLCA course plus HR appraisals, etc. Now, Michael suggested that both clerks attend the Wakefield Regional Roadshow, and that is finance and pensions, devolution to local councils, health and safety and insurance, risk management for the council, and we've got dealing with potentially serious incidents and more for local councils. The total cost. So it's 160, which is YLCA plus human resources course, and then £79 each for Anna and Michael to attend the course that I've just mentioned, which comes to a total of £380.
Good. I'll second it. Can I just say quickly, I'll second that. Although it sounds a lot of money, it's essential training that our clerks need to go. Although it sounds expensive, when we come to things like insurance and dealing with emergency events, we do need our employees to be up to date and know what they're doing. So I think it's quite justified to spend that amount of money.
For the benefit of members of the public who haven't been here before, Anna's our new clerk. So she's relatively new in post and has to go on to an mandatory training. Once she knows it, it's not a recurring yearly cost. So we've got a proposal, John proposed it,
I'll second it.
Darren will second it. All those in favour? Thank you. We are. How quick is yours going to be?
Well, if it's a case, it's just fairly quickly, because it needs improvement. Right. Almost every year, the Yorkshire Local Councils Association, they have a conference which is more of a training programme than a conference. I think, has everybody seen a copy of it? I think it was sent round. What they've done this year is that in the past they've sent councillors on there. I've been on it almost every time. Clive's been on it and previous councillors were on it. It's a conference, but it's a training session where you do a series of workshops where you learn about different things. There's insurance on there this year. I can't remember off the top of my head what they were. My recommendation is that as many councillors as possible go on this course, especially with having a lot of new councillors. It will give you a lot more insight of how councils are supposed to work in general rather as opposed to what we do here. Now, the problem with it is this year, for some reason, I don't understand why, they've decided they're going to charge for the actual conference time, but not and leave the arrangements for the hotel to individuals, which I think are the biggest mistakes they're going to make. In the past, the council agreed to pay the full cost, which included hotels and the course. It sounds a lot of money, it probably is a lot of money, but I wholly recommend that every councillor who's able to go on this, because it will give you a big insight of what the bigger picture is, and it covers subjects that we really need to know. Things on employment, insurance, everything. So, although it's expensive, I have the figures with it. Well, I propose that any councillor who wishes to attend this course, that the council pay the conference fee and the cost of hotel accommodation subject to confirmation.
How much is the conference?
Sorry, Colin, we've got Paul and then Jonathan, and I'll put you in the queue. Oh, I thought you stuck your hand up.
No.
Jonathan, you definitely.
All I was going to say is that before we can make a decision, we can't decide or approve anything in principle before we know how much it's going to cost. So until we've got some figures of the cost of the conference and any upper limits of a cheap bed and breakfast, not a hotel maybe, then we can't make a decision, can we?
Right,
We need the full figures, so...